Hello, welcome to another up close video. Today's one is looking at the brand new Nuvo alcohol markers. I didn't actually do a video for the previous lot of Nuvo alcohol pens, but I thought as they brought them out and kind of redesigned them a bit, I thought I would give you an up close look at them. They have kept the exact same names or numbers of the pens that they previously had, so there are 72 pens in the set again, just like the old design. However, they have changed the barrel of the pen, so they now look a lot more like Copics, and they have made it so they have a colour identifier on the end of the pens that can be seen when they're lying down. So you know, with the old pens, if this was lying on your desk, it's very hard to tell what colour that is unless you've got a glimpse at this little slanted piece there. It's really great for having in your storage unit because if like for me from here, I can see all of them like this because they're all pointing towards me, even though it's diagonally over there. However, when you're working with them on your desk, it was quite difficult to easily and quickly pick up the right colour, and there was also people struggling with taking the lids off the pens as well. But now they have completely redesigned them but kept the same colours of the pens. However, because it's going over to a different manufacturer, some of the colours are slightly different. So later on in the video I will be showing you a full comparison of each of the pens next to, like, the old one next to the new one, so that you can see how colours have changed. And I think that actually the changes in colours have improved the colour blends between the pens as well, which is brilliant. But some of the changes in the colours actually leave you with like older Nuvo pens, filling in some of the gaps between newer ones, if you know what I mean. So if you do already have the old Nuvo pens, these, although some colours are very similar, other colours really will mix in, so you'll have like more than 72 pens, because you can use some of the old ones with some of the new ones to get even more like in-depth kind of blends. Instead of having like 3 pens, you might have 4 or 5 pens that will give a lovely blend together. So, info-wise about the pens, there'll be links in the description below the video and over on my blog in case you want to get any of the new pens, showing you, well, I'm definitely going to link to the multi-packs of the pens. I'm not going to individually link to all 72 different pens, but the way they are selling them now is they're going to be in sets of 24, which are going to cost £24.99, which I think is a fantastic price to get a whole set like this in a plastic case that you can store them in for £24.99, and there's 24 pens in there. I think it's brilliant prices. So you can either get them in a full set of 24, in which there are 3 sets, so that you can get all 3 of them to get the whole 72 pen set, or you can get them each of these 3 24 pen sets also come in 2 12 pen sets as well. So if you invested in, say, this one, but then you wanted to buy a 12 pen set, you could just make sure you don't pick either of the 2 12 pen sets that are in this one, so you wouldn't duplicate on colours, or vice versa. If you bought some 6 pen sets, you know, you could then go up and buy a 24 pen set that would have different colours in, hopefully. So as well as doing them in 24 pen sets, 12 pen sets, they're also still selling them in the 3 pens together in the exact same colour family. So for example, if your old Coral Reef pens had run out, you could then buy the 3-pack of the new pens in Coral Reef colour to replace them, which is brilliant. But as well as doing that, they are also selling them individually for £1.49 a pen. So obviously the more you buy in a set, the better the value is. So these work out like £1 a pen, whereas if you buy them individually, they're £1.50. But isn't it brilliant that they're going to sell them individually? So if you lost 1 pen, or you use 1 pen so much, like for example, some of the ones of mine that are completely dead of the old ones is the lightest blue, which is 425, one of the light purpley blues, which I think is 433, and also one of the light greens, 410. Some of those colours, they're just like your go-to colour, and you use them so much that you run out of them. So they'll be available to buy individually as well. I might link them all on my blog. It depends how I'm feeling when I make my list of all of the products. But basically this video, it's not really showing you like how the pens work and stuff, because I think a lot of you know by now how alcohol pens work, and I think this is a fantastic range for sort of beginners getting into their alcohol pen colouring, or if you've had the old ones and you want a few new colours or you want to replace them because they've been running out. But this is going to be more of a video showing you the comparison between the old pens and the new pens, and also I'm going to show you now a comparison between the new pens and other pens on the market that I own, just to show you like a size comparison and the pros and cons of the pens as well. So I'll be back in 1 second to show you that. I will go back to the full sets and show you all the colours that are in them as well, just so you know. But I wanted to show you a comparison between different pens on the market and why I've really been enjoying these pens as well, like what advantages they have over other pens too. So this is the old Nuvo pen, and this is the same colour in the new Nuvo pen. So if we're looking at size wise, the old one was just under 6 inches long, and the new one is bang on 6 inches long, so they're practically the same sized pen, which is brilliant. And also the kind of barrel of the pen is maybe slightly smaller. Obviously this one did taper, so I guess the new barrel is slightly wider than the narrow end, but slightly narrower than the wide end, if that made sense. So there's still like a really lovely, comfy pen to hold, and you'll notice that, well, if you have Copics or you've tried any Copics before, you'll notice it kind of looks a lot like a Copic now, having the little narrow grey band on here, having these colour caps on both ends, and having that oval shape to them now, with the colour, number and name on the end of them, which I think is brilliant, because a lot of my old Nuvo pens, like this one, it doesn't have a name, it only has a number, because they only started putting the names on the pens later on, and you had like a little sticker on here that had the name of the pen as well as the number. So a lot of mine, I didn't actually know what they were called, but now we have as well as the number. So if you liked the numbering system before, you've still got the numbering system, but now we also have the names to go by. I tend to prefer to go by names really, but so it's quite a nice legible font as well. If I show you in comparison to a Copic, you'll see that they are practically the same size, you know, in sort of oval shape on the top of the pen. They're practically the same size, and you can see that the writing is like just as legible as it is on a Copic. It might be in a bold font rather than a fine font, but it's still pretty legible, which is brilliant. And you can see that lovely oval shape of the barrel as well, which is brilliant. Then comparing it to a Copic, it is practically an identical length to a Copic. So if you have ever tried one before or want to know what a Copic is like, but you want to buy a cheaper alternative really, they are practically identical in length and in sort of ovalness shape. So they're really, I don't know, they feel so much more expensive. I don't know, they just feel luxurious, the new ones. And weight-wise, I mean, I suppose it depends how much ink is in there, but weight-wise, they're pretty on par with a Copic, so they feel really nice to hold and to colour with, which is really nice. They do, however, before you get carried away and think that they have a brush nib like a Copic, they do actually have the bullet nib. So exactly the same as the old Nuvo pens, or mine's a bit battered, but they have a bullet nib. But I actually prefer the ones on the new pens. The old pen ones were quite soft, but these are slightly harder kind of nib, more similar to the Arteza alcohol pens. If you've tried them, the bullet nib on these are much similar to those. And the chisel nib is slightly smaller than the old Nuvo pen, which probably means that it's about the same size as the Copic one, because I know the Copic ones are slightly smaller. Yeah, so it's practically the same size as a Copic chisel nib now, which is brilliant. Then, if we want to compare this to the next pen that I have here, which is one of the Arteza ones. So, the new Nuvo pen is slightly shorter than an Arteza pen. An Arteza pen is about 6.5 inches, whereas the Nuvo one is only 6 inches. It has all of the positives of an Arteza pen because it has the easy to read caps on there, and instead of having a coloured outline around the fine nib, it's got the grey one. So, you know, I think they're very comparable to Arteza. If you've had the Arteza ones and you want to add some more colours in, you know, you could go for some of the Nuvo ones as well. I think they are very comparable together. I think these work out about £1 a pen as well, actually. I think the set of 60 is about £60. So they're price matched as well, which is good. Quality matched and price matched. So I think both of these are really brilliant beginner kind of pens. Then I also wanted to compare with some other pens that I have, some of my old pro markers, and I also have a graph marker as well to compare. And you can see a graph marker is 6.5 inches, so they're more of the same size as an Arteza pen. But the Graphmaster ones have a kind of almost triangular barrel to them, whereas the Nuvo one is the oval shape. But just to give you a sort of size comparison compared to a Graphmaster, if you have Graphmasters, you know, you might want to visually think, you know, how similar it is to that. Again, a lot of these ones do have the indication of the fine nib on there, and they have the colour on the ends and stuff as well to make it really easy to identify. So I love that the Nuvo one now looks like this rather than the previous version of them. And then I also wanted to compare it to pro markers, because the thing about my pro markers, I started off with pro markers, and the original ones that I had, which is this one, I loved the fact that if I was colouring with the fine nib, I could take the lid off and I could put it on the end of the pen, right? And I love being able to do this. This was so handy, especially with pro markers, because they don't have the colour on the lid of them. It was so much better because you wouldn't muddle the lid colours up, or the lids up, because obviously they don't have a colour, and you might, if you put like a red lid on a yellow pen, there might have been red ink in there that could contaminate the nib. Not that it would really matter, but you know, it'd be a bit annoying. But then the newer version of the pro marker, they changed the lids and they don't fit on the end anymore, which was really annoying. So the reason why I wanted to show you that is because the Nuvo pens now, the lid fits on the end absolutely perfectly, and it clips on really nicely, so they're not just going to fly off. I did notice on a couple of the pens though that it wasn't gripping on very tightly, but if it's doing that, just switch the lids over and then clip the other lid on top of this one and put that one back on, and then usually there's at least one way round that they clip nice and tightly together like that. So I mean, it depends which end of the pen you're always using, really, to which way round you put the lids on. But I love that they do this. You'll see in my videos, I've done a couple of sped up videos colouring with them, and I keep forgetting that you can do this, and you'll see me colouring holding the lid in my hand because I keep forgetting that it'll fit perfectly on the end of the pen. So this is like my main really massive plus about these pens, is that the lid fits on the end. But I do really love these pens, actually. I've really been enjoying colouring with them. I've coloured quite a few images with them now. I've been playing with them since, well, practically the whole of 2021 so far, because I was actually colouring my colour swatches on New Year's Eve. So that was partly what was keeping me awake until midnight, was doing my colour swatches for my alcohol pens. So yeah, I've been playing with these for quite some time, and I have really been enjoying them, and it's been very hard not to show them in a video when, you know, because they haven't been released yet. But I really have been enjoying these. They're definitely a fantastic pen for a beginner. I wish I'd had these starting out. I mean, I loved my pro markers, but I've really been enjoying these ones, and they really do feel and remind me of a Copic. So they have that luxury and aesthetically pleasingness to them that a Copic has, but they're way cheaper. I know they don't have the brush nib, but I will show you an image that I coloured with the new Nuvo pens and Copics, and show you a comparison between them. I did that in my Arteza alcohol pen video, and to be honest, you can't see that much of a difference between the two pens. I mean, I know when it comes to things like hair and, I don't know, maybe really detailed kind of blends or like a large ombre kind of a thing, having that brush nib on a Copic really does help, because you can get that flicking motion to get a nice blend between two different colours, or to get, like with hair, you get that sort of flick of a section of hair falling over another section of hair, and I know that's not as easy to achieve with a bullet nib, but there's only rare instances where you kind of need the brush nib to do that. So if you just like to colour in images, maybe even just flat colour as well, they're brilliant just for flat colour using the chisel end as well. I have really been enjoying them, and you know, if I didn't have my Copics, these would be my like everyday using sort of alcohol pens, but because I have the Copics, I do tend to lean towards them a lot of the time. However, I will now be using the new Nuvo pens in my tonic videos rather than the old style of Nuvo pen as well. However, I am going to keep all my old pens, even though some of them are dead. I'll show you on the colour chart later. There's a few that I definitely want to keep because I think they fill in some of the colour gaps from the new sets, because the colours have just ever so slightly changed. I definitely want to keep some of my old pens to go in with the new pens as well. So I just wanted to show you that kind of a little comparison against some of the other pens on the market that I have, to be able to show you just size comparison wise, barrel shape wise, and also the cool fact that the lids fit on the end of the pens. None of the other ones do that. I mean I guess if you were colouring really carefully it would kind of stay on with the old ones, but they definitely don't clip on. With an Arteza one, it definitely doesn't clip on because it's at a weird angle. I mean, you could maybe just rest it on there, but it's going to just flick off. So they definitely don't stay on there. Showed you the Pro markers already. Graph Masters definitely have no way of staying on there. And the same with a Copic Sketch as well. There's no way of them staying on there. If you have a Copic Chow, I think they do stay on the other end. But I just love that about these new pens, that you can now clip the lid on the end of them and it doesn't get in the way too much. I mean, I know it makes the pen like this much longer, but that's not actually too annoying. It doesn't add too much weight onto the end of the pen to like off balance it as you're colouring. And I think this oval shape is a really lovely shape for a colouring pen as well. So I'll go back to the main sets of pens now to run you through the colours that are in the different sets, so you can decide if you're interested in any of the sets of them to add to your collections. So if you're just interested in seeing what colours of pens come in what sets with the new Nuvo markers, I just thought I'd do this section, just showing you the 3 24 pen sets and then the 6 12 pen sets as well. All of the pens that are in the 12 pen sets are the same pens that are in the 24 pen sets. They're just split up differently, so if you only wanted to buy 12, you could just get those 12 rather than having to buy a set of 24 just to get the 12 colours that you want. And then after this section, I will show you the 3 packs, the new compared to the old, just for any of those, any of you who have the old pens and, you know, want to know how they compare to the new pens as well. That's what I would want to know if I were you. So I thought I would show that in the video. So the 3 24 pen sets, this is the entire Nuvo collection. They kind of look a little bit odd and unpleasing to the eye seeing them like this, because I didn't put them in rainbow order. I put them in the colour order in the sets of them, but I just wanted a quick way of showing you exactly what colours you're getting in the sets, and I'm going to zoom in on each one so that you can have a look and see, for example, if you love you know, there's 10 colours that you love using and yours are all running out from your old ones, you'll be able to see up close and maybe even take a screenshot of the video to work out which set they're in, or you know, if you need to buy a couple of sets if you wanted to get hold of them within sets, or you could just buy them individually as well. But you know, I thought I'd give you all the options there, so whatever information you're after, hopefully it'll help you find what you're looking for. So this is the first set, and this is called the Essential Collection because it has the black pen and the blender pen in here as well, but it also has a lot of it's got basically like the basic rainbow in here, but it also has some gorgeous pastel tones built into the set as well. So you've got some of the gorgeous light tones. One of these was in aquamarine and one of them was in emerald seas, so some gorgeous tones like that. You've got beautiful greens. I do tend to use 410 and 412 together as a blend of green, but 410 and 415 do work really nicely together to get a nice blend of green. You've also got then a sort of light yellow blend. You've got a sort of yellow to orange blend. You could try and blend orange into the red too. So you've got a nice blend for lots of the different colours. The blue, you've got a perfect blend because that is actually, I think that is the entire set from... Yes, it is. It is the entire Marina Blues set you've got in there, the 3 that blend together. And then you've also got 432 and 433, which blend absolutely perfectly together. I'm just trying to have a look and see what set they're from. They are from 2 different sets. They were from the Hazy Mauves and the Palmer Violets, but they give you a perfectly lovely little... subtle blend. They're not too different in colour, but they'll blend nicely. And then to bring it into a kind of deeper purple, you might want to blend those 2 together. You've got 437, which is actually quite different from the original 437 as well, but I will show you that later on. You've got a selection of a couple of kind of paler skin tone sort of colours. This is a really deep brown, which is brilliant for hair. And then you've also got a selection of the palest greys that they do as well. So you've got the palest warm grey and the palest cool grey, and then you've got the next cool grey up as well. So this is really a lovely essential collection. I suppose if you really do want to have the blends of pens, I probably would recommend going for either getting the entire collection in the 24 pen sets because that's the best value, or going for some of the 3 pen sets because they give you that instant blend. But if you're just looking to get a basic starter set of some different colours that you can blend together but you could just use as nice solid basic colours, then any of the 24 pen sets would be really lovely, but this one does include the black and the blender pen as well. So that is the essential collection. Then the second set is called the Midtone Collection, and you can see they're all sort of gorgeous, slightly muted, mid sort of toned colours, obviously. And again, we've got basically like a whole muted kind of rainbow in here. There's not actually any blues though, but there's a lovely... I really like this colour scheme together. This is making me want to make a card that has sort of corals and these khaki kind of greens in it. I think it would make a really lovely colour scheme for a card. So you've got a couple of colours from the Coral Reef set of pens. This one's really lovely actually. These 2 are really nice together. They again give you a nice subtle kind of orangey blend. You've got some gorgeous yellowy tones. These 2 would blend together for a really nice yellow. I love these 2 greens together. These are the perfect kind of safari muted leafy green colours blended together. Also these 2 greens give a really lovely blend. You can then incorporate this really dark green into sort of either of these blends to give a really dark tone. You've got a lovely pair of purples to blend together. A lovely light pink because this one has got some more skin tone kind of colours in here, and that pink makes a really nice blush tone for skin tones. You've got lovely really dark browns that can be skin tones or hair colours as well. Even this for a blonde kind of hair colour, you can mix some of these together. And then you've got a couple more greys in this set as well. So I'll leave that there. You can take a print screen of it if you are looking at the Midtone Collection. Then the final 24 pen collection is the Bright and Dark collection. So you can tell obviously the 2 12 pen sets that are in here are going to be called Bright and Dark because it's called the Bright and Dark collection. But again, you've got like a whole rainbow in here. You've got quite a few blues in this one this time. And again, some nice blending colours. These 2 here blend really lovely together. You could mix in this more of a greeny blue as well. You've got a really nice red blend in this set. Again, you can go for sort of like a lighter orangey, or you can go and darken the yellow with that light orange. Those 2 greens work really nicely together. You've got another 3 pen set of blues, which were again all in the same set originally. So that is the Indigo Ink 3 pen set there. Then you also have really gorgeous purples. These 2 are my 2 favourite purples to blend together. They give such a beautiful purple tone, and the purples have really improved. For on these new pens, you'll see in the next section, but on these new pens the purples are like so much better than the old purples. They're really, really gorgeous, and this deep one in particular I really love. You've kind of got a bluey sort of purple colour, which you could blend into a purple or you could blend into a blue. You've got a selection of different pinks in there as well that will blend nicely, and even the pinks into some of the purples as well. You've got one brown and then the final two darkest greys in there as well. So those are all of the 24 pen sets. Then I will go back to the first. So this is the first 24 pen set that I showed, but it is also split into these two. So, oh yeah, you can get that all on screen if you want to screenshot that. This is the 24 pen set, but it is split into the Perfect Pastels and the Principal Collection. So the Principal Collection has the blender, the black, two grey tones, the cool greys are in this set, and then like a basic colour of every colour of the rainbow and a brown in there as well. And then the Pastels, which I think this is the set that I'm going to be rebuying when my pens start to run out, because it's got all of the gorgeous pale tones. Do you remember me just saying 410, 425, 433 were three of my favourite pens that have run out from my previous original set? So this is definitely a lovely set to buy if you love doing the colouring method of like flooding the area with the lightest colour first and then going in with your darker tones, which is how I prefer to colour. So I do tend to get through a lot of the lighter tones of the pens. So definitely Perfect Pastels is a fantastic one. Even if you just wanted to, I mean, maybe you've only got really bold coloured alcohol pens, because all brands of alcohol pens can mix together. So if you've only got bold colours, buying a 12 pen set of pastels will add to all of the bold colours of another brand of pen that you already have as well, which is really nice. And even these colours just together, it's reminding me a lot of the Sweet Sorbet colour trend with the yellow, the pink, the minty colours, and the blues and the purples. It's really that kind of colour scheme. So if you bought the Sweet Sorbet colour trend, this pack of pens would go perfectly with that as well. So that is the Essential Collection split into Perfect Pastels and the Principal Collection. Then the next set was the Midtone Collection, which splits down into these two sets, and this is how you can buy them. You can get them in the hair and skin tone set or in the muted midtone set. So again, I think this is really inspiring me to make a card with these kind of colours. Would give a nice sort of masculine feel, or even autumnal kind of colours as well in that set. So you've got those beautiful purples in there, that really dark green, a grey, a few browns, lots of other green tones. These two are two of my favourites that I was just saying before. They work really, really nicely together to give a lovely leaf kind of colour. And then you've also got a yellow and a minty tone in there as well. And then this one is literally all of the hair and skin tone kind of colours. So you've got some light skin tones, darker skin tones, really deep hair. You can mix some of these to make a nice blonde hair colour. You can have grey hair. Lots of scope with how you want to use that to colour in characters. So if you love colouring in little people, this is definitely a good set to go for, and it might be one that you want to rebuy because you use those colours a lot for your skin tones and stuff. So that is that if you want to print screen that. And then the final set is the 24 pen set, which is split in, the 24 pen set is the bright and dark, and it's split into shaded accents, which is like the dark, and radiant and bold, which is the bright. So you can see a gorgeous selection. So I think these two sets, or even this whole set together, is another good one for, kind of for beginners or people who just like to solidly colour things. Like when I was starting out with crafting, I hardly had any coloured cardstock at all. I would die cut everything from white card and either use some watercolours or my alcohol pens, which were my pro markers at the time, to colour in my die cuts. So these kind of tones, I mean, if looking at that looks a bit like my cardstock collection. You know, the sort of bright and maybe more muted colours that you would typically buy in cardstock to use for your die cutting and stuff. These would be great ones for colouring white die cuts to make it look as if you'd used coloured card as well. But you've basically got a rainbow in both of them, but you've just got a slightly brighter, bolder rainbow or a slightly darker kind of muted rainbow as well. But really lovely colours. I love all of these new colours. I mean, they're the same colours, but the way they've just slightly changed, I really like how they've slightly changed them. So if you want to print screen that, you can do that as well. Then actually, before I show you the comparison of the colours, I will just also put this on screen. So if you wanted to, if you get the whole collection, I don't know if you'll be able, is it in focus enough? Hopefully you'll be able to read that. If not, I will take a photo and put it on my blog as well, just so you've got it. And if you want to put them in the same order I have. I mean, looking at it now, I might have changed my order slightly, doing my colour swatches, but you know, you can't always 100% tell. I mean, I might have put some colours in a slightly different area, but I basically tried to do the little colour blends that I would tend to blend with. Here, you know, this one I could have maybe moved further down here, so it was nearer this kind of colour, because the honeycomb would probably blend into the fruit punch better than the butternut squash would, but, you know, I didn't want to have to redo them all, so I just kind of left it. And with the purples, you might think, why does it go dark light, dark light? Well, I was trying to sort of put them in blending pairs almost, because you've got bluey purples and pinky purples and muted purples and grey purples as well. So I was kind of trying to put them in an order so you had the kind of same tone together. So those two are very bluey purples, they would blend really nicely. These two are very grey purples, they'll blend really nicely. Any mixture of these ones are very pinky purples, so they'll blend really nicely. So I thought I'd just sort of arrange them like that. So I think you can see that. Maybe it looks a bit blurry over here, but I think you can just about see those ones there. So if you wanted to print screen that to you know, put all of your pens in the same order, because I know a lot of you ask how I do my Copic colour charts and things like that. I basically just follow the number system on the Copics when I do that one, but I don't know whether the number system, I'm not really sure what the number system's for with the tonic ones. For example, these ones came together in a set and they go really nicely together, so the numbers aren't in the right order compared to like these ones here, but they're in number order within their little group of 3, and so, you know, that kind of thing. I've sort of split them up like that, but hopefully that will kind of help any of you who struggle with putting their pens in a good order as well. Although there are places where I might have changed the order slightly, like I could have put this one over here as well, but hopefully that'll help some of you. I'll be back in a second to show you, for those of you who have the old Nuvo pens and want to know what the difference is, why should I get any of the new ones, or, you know, anything like that, I will be back in a second to show you those comparisons so that it's easy for you to know the differences. So this was just a quick colour chart that I was doing for myself, because I wanted to see how the old pens were differing from the new pens, because if they switch manufacturer, I think, you know, it's difficult for manufacturers to completely accurately match an existing colour and stuff. So, or, you know, they might not, I don't know, have the ingredients to make that kind of dye pigment or something. So I wanted to do this for me, so I thought it would be useful to show you in the video as well, for any of you who are curious about how the colours might have changed between the new and the old. But I definitely think, pretty much all of them are an improvement. You know, from the colour blends that they had before, I think the way they've been changed is an improvement, which is great. But there are also some where I would definitely keep my old pen if it still has juice in it, as well as the new ones, because I think they'll work really nicely together. So let's start with Rich Red. I'm pretty sure they're keeping them all the same names, all the 3 pen sets. So we've got Rich Red. These were the old ones, which were very pinky kind of reds, but look how lovely the new reds are. They are just absolutely gorgeous, like proper cherry red kind of tones. Really lovely. I love that change from these ones to these. But saying that, I'm going to keep my old red pens because they are really lovely colours that I often reach for, because they're really nice deep pink kind of tones. So we've now got gorgeous new red tones to add into the collection basically. Then the fragrant oranges. The old colours were a nice blend as well, and the new colours are a nice blend. Not too different actually. This one is maybe a slightly grayer kind of yellow than the old one, but these two are like practically spot on with old and new. So fragrant oranges, if your old pens have run out, they're practically the same colours to replace them with. Then sunshine yellows. The old ones were quite a nice blend, although you can see here how similar the colours are. There wasn't that much of a jump between them. Whereas the new pens, look how lovely and pale that first colour is. So you've now got a proper gradiated blend of pens going from a really nice pale yellow to a lovely deeper kind of tone of yellow. So perfect for like chicks or sunshines, or, you know, just yellow clothing and stuff. You've got that really nice blend now. So I think that's definitely an improvement from the old ones, but you might as well keep the old ones, you know, if you're replacing them, because then you've still got those deeper yellows to play around with some of the newer colours as well. Then the Woodland Greens, this is the old Woodland Greens, because they did change the lightest one, I think. However, my pens ran out, so I couldn't swatch that one. And then the new greens, those first two are very close together, but it's a really lovely green, and you can use them in conjunction with some of the other greens that are in the organic greens and the Irish clover set as well, so you can mix and match them, but you can see how they vary. I mean, this middle one here looks like identical to the darker one over here. I haven't put the numbers on here, sorry if that's confusing, but it was just like a quick colour guide for me, but I just wanted to see sort of how they differ. So they do differ, and I don't know, I think I do prefer the new greens to the old ones, because this lighter green, it's a nicer lighter green in a different set, so I don't mind losing that kind of lighter green in there. Then the fair skin tones, again, has changed a bit. I'd say the one that was supposed to be the darkest in this looks very similar to the lightest colour in the new set, and you've also got maybe a slightly pinkier kind of tone, and even this one here would make a nice blush tone as well. So I do like the newer ones better, so that is just showing you the newer ones. Then Marina Blues. These blues are lovely, the old ones, but they were a little bit difficult to blend because that last one was very dark compared to the other two. So I think the new blue blend in this is fantastic because there are dark blues elsewhere in the range, so it doesn't matter that we've lost that darker one. So I think they are a fantastic blue blend now. If you've been struggling with blues and you want a nice blue blend, then Marina Blues is a fab set to get. Then the royal purples, you can see what I mean about their purples. They were very iffy before. I mean, the top and the bottom blended, but there's a very big gap. You know, there's a very the depth of colour really varies between the top and the bottom, so you could blend them, but it took quite a long time, or was, you know, quite time consuming and difficult, because that middle colour was more of a grey kind of purple, like a pinky grey purple, whereas the new colour blend is really lovely. They go really, really nicely together. Again, the top two are kind of similar to each other, but I might have just done a couple of layers on one of them and then the colours built up. So, you know, it's not 100% accurate, just my swatches here. Then the rosy pinks. This one is almost spot on actually with the matching the colours, but I do prefer the new ones because that pink is nicer than this one. This one's slightly a greyer pink, so definitely the rosy pinks. Again, if you struggle with your pinks, that's a fabulous blending set to get. The bottom pink is maybe more of a purpley pink maybe, or a, you know, it's got a little dash of blue in it, but I still think they'll blend nicely together to give you a good pink tone. Then the next one is natural browns. This brown here is actually my favourite brown from the old one, so it's not quite emulated across there. However, there is a similar one in a different set, so I don't mind too much that we've lost that. And these two are very dark, but again, it's nice to have a really dark colour that isn't black to be able to use for shadows and hair and all sorts and stuff. So although these have changed quite a bit from the old ones, I don't mind them too much because there's also other browns within the collection that you can use with them to get some lighter blends as well. Then depth and shadows was you got the lightest cool grey, the black and the blender in it. So I think that they've improved the lightest cool grey colour. I think that's much nicer now. It's definitely more of a bluey grey, whereas this one was on the side of a warm grey, even though it was kind of supposed to be a cool grey. So I think the depth and shadows is great. Stormy Greys is kind of a set of cooler greys again, so it's kind of got the next one up from here. So this is like the lightest, and then you've got the next 3 colour shades. Again, not much of a difference, so that's great. That one hasn't changed much really. This one's a tiny bit of a greeny grey, but again, that's quite nice to have a greeny grey kind of colour tone that you could mix in with some of your green colours to give some different blends. Coral Reef is one of my favourite sets of the old pens, and again, they've been pretty good at matching the colours for these. The top one is slightly different, but they still blend really nicely together. So this is a really lovely coral sort of blend together. And I don't have many corals in my Copics, so if I need a coral, I do tend to come to my Nuvo pens. So that's another thing to think about, is what colour blends do you already have in the pens that you own, and what other ones would you like to have to use, you know? You can just add like a set of 3 Nuvo pens to the other alcohol pens that you already have to complete your collection of shade ranges and blending families and stuff. Then the next one is Irish Clover. And again, the top 2 on Irish Clover are perfectly matched, and the bottom one, it's slightly different, but I prefer this green. So I think this Irish Clover set is now the perfect green blending tones. Irish Clover is one of my favourites before anyway, but I like it even more now because it's got that lovely brighter green in there rather than a darker green. But again, if you have the old pens and it's still got juice in it, you might as well keep that one, because you've then got a different green, you know, to blend in with the new ones as well. And then you could just replace out these colours, you know, as your old pen dies, you can replace it with the new one if you've already got the new ones in your stash to get this brighter green and stuff. Next, we've got the aquamarines. Now you can see here, the tones of blending are perfect in both the old set and the new set, but the new set is slightly different. The new set is a slightly more of a bluier kind of a colour. So in this case, I will be keeping my old ones as well, because I love my old aquamarine pens. I think they've still got juice in them, but I love this colour blend. It's the perfect turquoisey aqua colour blend, but now we have a slightly different turquoisey colour blend as well. However, although I love this one, and you know, I don't want to part with those, the Emerald Sea set, which I'll show you later, is kind of a dupe for these old aquamarines. So even though we've kind of lost them here, we do still have those colours, which is great. So the next one is the Indigo Ink, and I did love the Indigo Ink, although this bright blue in the middle was kind of tricky to blend into the one above and below. So the new blend is actually a great improvement on the old ones, which is brilliant. So again, if you struggle with dark blues, this is a beautiful 3 pen blend for dark blues. Then the next set is Parma Violets, which the old set was a really nice blend actually, going from more of a light pinky purple into the other 2 purpley tones. And you see these 2 are practically identical to those 2, and then you've just got a slightly darker bluier purple in there as well, rather than having that lighter one in there. So again, you might want to keep that lighter tone from your old set, although we have got another lighter purple over here, so you know, it's not the end of the world if you're just getting the new sets. Then Pebble Beach is kind of the warm greys of the collection. So again here, in the old ones, these 2 are very similar, and you know, difficult to get a sort of definition between them. And the light one was really light, which was lovely because I love having that really light grey, which I'm definitely going to be keeping. But it's nicer to have a sort of variation in your greys, because sometimes, for example, penguins and teddy bears and elephants and things like that, when I first had my pro markers, I went for a bright colour of pens because I knew I was going to use all the bright colours. But the next thing I went for after bright colours, because I had like Tatty Teddy stamps and stuff, and I was like, I don't have any greys. I have all bright colours and I don't have any greys. So the next thing I did was went and bought lots of different greys to play with. So I think having these kind of tones of grey are perfect. And if you got the Stamp Club, I think it was called Party Animals, that had the elephant and the hippo in, these are kind of the perfect colours for an elephant and a hippo. So I really love these ones, and I think the new set is an improvement on the old set, although I definitely will still be keeping the lighter colour. Then the next set is Apricot Ombre, which maybe I do prefer the older colours for Apricot Ombre, so obviously I'm definitely going to be keeping them, but because these aren't quite as good as a blending family, but they're still really nice colours. The bottom two definitely are going to blend nicely, and if you have more of the pens, these two are going to blend really lovely with your fragrant oranges, and this one I think is going to go nicely. This is the one that I pointed out as like a blonde hair colour, so going in with your ambery kind of tones, or maybe even your skin tones as well, it's definitely going to go elsewhere. I just don't think it really belongs in this blend together, but I mean, there's nothing we can do about that, but you know, I just thought I'd point that out. Then the next set is Cookies and Cream, which again, I did really love this set of Cookies and Cream. The tones of brown in there are really lovely. However, again, you had a really light one and a really dark one, and it was very difficult to get a nice blend between them. But now we have the perfect kind of blend, although they have changed the tone of the brown a little bit. So it's kind of more of a reddy brown, but again, that's going to give a really lovely blend together. You could even use the top colour as a skin tone kind of a colour. These could be a reddy brown hair colour as well. So nice different colours that we can then mix and match with different browns and stuff from the rest of the sets. Then we've got Honey Amber, which has changed quite a lot actually. So I'm definitely going to be keeping the old and the new, but I still think it's an improvement. This is definitely a way better colour blend than these three together. I mean, those two, very difficult to blend together and get a seamless blend. These three, lovely as a seamless blend. So, I mean, these colours I think I split them up in sort of like my blending families. I would kind of put this with more of either the greens to make a darker green, or these with some of the orangey kind of tones, or with browns and stuff. So I did still make use of these old ones, but I never blended them together as a family because it was just difficult to get them to go. But now the Honey Ambers go really nicely together. Then these two are the opposite way around because I stupidly put the titles the wrong way around, and then I didn't want to change it because I was on the last column. But these are the Emerald Seas, which is one of my favourites. This is the old blend. Really gorgeous, the old blend of these. But the new blend is almost identical. I mean, maybe the dark colour is slightly different, but again, a really lovely blend. They go really nicely together, and you can mix them. Or actually, what I was saying before, you see, the old aquamarine is very similar to the new Emerald Seas, so you're not really losing that aquamarine. You've kind of got it in the Emerald Sea set now instead. Then the next set is Hazy Mauves, and you can see, look at this for a blend. That one, I was convinced I had a dud pen when I got that one, because I was like, that's grey, that's not purple, that's just a grey. And I was like, how does that blend? But the new ones, look how gorgeous that blend is. So if you struggle with purples, this set is going to be like your saving grace for purples for blending. I love these together. I've coloured some dragons, which I'll show you later on. I love them together as little cute purple dragons, and anything purple will be brilliant for those. Next set is Organic Greens, which Organic Greens was a really lovely set actually. Really nice actual blend between them, and it wasn't too difficult between this dark and the mid-tone, so I'm definitely keeping those. The new ones, they've changed them slightly. These are the two that I was saying work beautifully together for kind of more safari colours of leaves and stuff, but they've thrown in this really dark one, which I suppose kind of makes up for this darker tone that we've lost in the Irish Clover. But it's a really dark green, a very browny dark green, but it's a gorgeous colour that would also go with some of the newer brown tones as well. So even though we've kind of lost this one, we've got this gorgeous really dark tone in there as well. So I'm definitely going to keep my old Organic Greens because I love those together as well. And then Flamingo Pinks is the final set. This is the old set, this is the new set. Bottom two are the perfect blend to go together, and the top one is maybe more of a bluey pink rather than a brighter kind of magenta-y pink, but I still think they're going to blend nicely together. And don't forget, you've also got this set of three, and also this one might go quite nicely with some of the purples as well for a blend too. So that is all of the 3 pen sets, and I'm almost losing my voice from talking so much. But I'll be back in a minute to show you a few samples that I've coloured as well, just to round off the video and show you them in action really. Okay, so finally some little samples that I've done. I wanted to show you these 2 little fellas because one of them I coloured with Nuvo Alcohol Pens, the other one I coloured with Copic markers. I did this in my Arteza video to see if anybody could guess. So have a look, see which one you think. Do you think the right one is Nuvo pens, or do you think the left one is Nuvo pens? You see, I think I prefer the left one, but that's the Nuvo pens, not the Copics, and I would have thought I would have preferred the Copic one. This is Copics, this is the Nuvo pens. So I actually prefer this one. I mean, I didn't have the exact same colours in my Copics, but that just goes to show this set of Nuvo pens, I think I was mostly using Emerald Seas and Aquamarine together. Or no, just Emerald Seas, Aquamarine, sorry, I'm looking at the old pens for Aquamarine. Emerald Seas for this dragon, and I don't have those tones in my Copics. I had more of a grassy green kind of a colour, so I really do love how this little dragon turned out. And it's funny when you compare like a high-end alcohol pen coloured image with one that's, you know, a much more affordable pen, how sometimes you do prefer the one you coloured in the affordable pens. So I think it was the same with the Arteza ones. I did a sample or 2 where I coloured both with the different pens, and I think I preferred the Arteza one. So it's funny, isn't it? So anyway, that's just a little comparison of that, and then I just had a few other little ones that I've coloured in. Did the little Viking. I was just trying out all the different colours, you see, and you know, this is like lots of lovely browns and stuff. I did this little dragon with the gorgeous purple tones, and I did quite a few more dragons in an art journal page that I'll show you. And you can see the pinks as well, lovely pink blends too. Pinks is one I struggle with, even with my Copics. Like I said, I don't quite have well, I don't have the whole collection of them, and I'm sort of missing areas in my pinks, so, and the purples actually, so I often find them a little bit tricky to get a good blend with. But cute little dragon, they're really nice with the Nuvo pens. And then I just did a few little weirdry ones as well, just doing a like little kind of variation in skin tones and hair colours and things like that, and doing an ombre kind of effect on her dress, mixing in different colours that I might not have used together, kind of doing a Christmassy kind of colour scheme. You know, I was just having a bit of fun playing with all the different colours. And then I've just got a couple of art journal pages to show you where I've just used a load of images that I've coloured. So this one, I literally just went through my stash and found a load of images that I really wanted to colour that I hadn't coloured in ages, or a few new ones that I had. This is the colour combination I was just telling you about, the greens, that I really love. Don't they look beautiful? This is a polka doodle stamp. You'll notice there's a lot of mica on top of my coloured images as well. It's for another video that's coming up, so you'll be seeing these samples again in another video at some point. But I really love those 2 greens together. I was also experimenting with different greens, so a lot of these are actually my experiments, and then I just decided to turn them into an art journal page. This was me experimenting with different coral blends, red blends, orangey, yellowy kind of blends as well, and I got that kind of effect. This one, I was just picking out loads of different greeny, pinky, orangey colour tones, because I decided on him after I'd put this page together, so I knew what colours to bring in together. But I've really been enjoying these pens. I think they are really, really lovely, and I think anybody who gets hold of them is going to have so much fun colouring with them. And I've just really been enjoying them. And actually, I didn't tell you this, they say on the pen, it says store flat and replace cap when not in use. But I've actually been storing them like this, and they're perfectly fine. I do actually store all of my alcohol pens flat normally in my pen storage unit, but I have actually been storing these this way up, you know, for quite a few months, and they're still perfectly fine. I mean, it's probably best to do what the pen says and store them flat, but they haven't been problematic storing them upright either, so I just thought I'd say that. Then I've got a few more samples, just 3 more to show you. This was a few more little dragons. You can see I love the purples together. They're just so beautiful. And this pale pink here is that one that I said would be a great blush colour, and it's just a really gorgeous pinky tone. some of the browns in here are really lovely too, really interesting kind of browns, and like wooden tones as well, which is lovely. I used one of the light sort of skin tones to do this bandagey kind of colouring on there as well. I got some sort of blending with the pink in the background, and again using all the purples just to go with this page as well. So I really love how they turned out. Then I was also using a lot of these kind of tones which were from the Emerald Seas set of colours, just getting a nice kind of blend between these gorgeous greeny minty kind of tones, and then again using the more bluey purples from the Palmer Violet set. I really like those together as well, so just colouring that image in. And the final one I had done was just this one, because in the old alcohol pens I was always reaching for this colour scheme of turquoise, coral, light green and an orangey tone, so I just had to do it with the new pens as well. So a couple of the greens do that beautiful bright green leaves. This was using the aquamarine colours, the coral reef, and then I think these oranges were a mixture of honey amber, apricot ombre and fragrant oranges. I was just sort of mixing some of the orange tones together to get that kind of orangey look for the flower. So I hope some of these samples have given you a bit of inspiration as well. Not that you really need it for colouring with pens, but you know, I just thought I'd show you how I've been using some of the images that I've coloured. But I hope this video has been helpful to you to show you what the new colours are, I mean compared to the old colours, and also showing you or telling you how the pens are coming and how you can get them. So you can get them in there's 3 24 pen sets, or you can buy them in 6 12 pen sets, or you can buy them in their 3 pen colour families that they used to be available in, or you can buy them individually as well, depending on how many pens you want, which pens you want, you know, whichever option is best for you. And also, if you're getting the 24 pen sets, it's better value, you know, so if you are going to get the entire collection, it's basically £1 a pen really, maybe a tiny bit more than £1 a pen, but you know, really, really great value. Yeah, so I hope you just enjoyed this look. I mean, I hope it wasn't too annoying for people who weren't really interested, but you probably clicked off and aren't watching anymore. But yeah, I think if I were you and I had the old Nuvo pens and the new ones came out, I would want to know what I've just told you, basically. That's kind of how I do my videos anyway. I kind of just think, if I were the viewer, what would I want to see? So hopefully this was helpful or useful or interesting to somebody out there. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!